Hi guys, what's up? Welcome to my channel. I watched a lot of movies in the month of June, so we have a lot of movies to get through. In fact, I even went to the theaters. I have a movie pass now, so I went and saw How to Train Your Dragon, and that was amazing. Not going to add that, of course, in here, but I did go see that. So, while the majority of these were hits, we did have some misses. And the first one is definitely a miss for me. I guess I shouldn't say a miss. It was a good movie, just not one that I feel the need to rewatch. And that is Knife Fight, starring Rob Lowe. I actually had this in my collection because of Jennifer Morrison, because it was in my Jennifer Morrison collection. But this is definitely not one that's going to stay. She was in it only maybe 2 minutes. It was a very minor role. And this is it's a political movie, not like one side or the other, just Rob Lowe plays a political analyst who is helping a candidate out, and you have a community doctor that just wants to do better, wants to see candidates, of course, talk about the community and work more for the community. And so she thought, well, why doesn't she throw her hat in the ring? Rob Lowe's character is kind of like, nope, they're going to chew you up, spit you out. Totally not. Do not do this, whatever. But she kind of, just fights it and says, no, I'm going to do this. So it's just about that, just the whole political landscape and having someone who doesn't really have a political background, who is trying to make the community better and try to win the election. So again, it was a good movie, but again, not one that I care to watch again. Like, it was okay to watch. Or even if someone said, hey, do you want to watch it? I would watch it. I'm not going to say no, but I don't want it in my collection, if that makes sense. So the next one that I watched was another JMO movie, and that was Urban Legends Final Cut. This one I actually do love. This one is staying in my collection. It's back in those times with I Know What You Did Last Summer and all those kind of movies. But she plays a film student that each one of the students are doing a different film for one of their projects. And basically all of a sudden, all these different murders are starting to happen, and they're all based on like urban legends. So it's a great film. One of those, I don't really want to say it. Is it a slasher? Again, I'm not a normal like scary movie person, so I don't know the terminologies for things. So maybe a slasher movie, but yeah, Urban Legends, really good. So the next movie I watched was Keeping Up with the Joneses. I hadn't watched this one in so long that it was actually like on my list of maybes. Whether, was it going to stay or was it going to go? Again, it's going to depend watching it. Definitely staying. Zach Galifianakis is hysterical in this. He plays an ordinary suburban husband. Him and his wife one day see that they're getting new neighbors. The new neighbors look very sophisticated and just like they were very intrigued, like, oh, wow, So basically they come over and they're starting to become friends. And so he's excited because he's finally going to, basically have a friend. And they soon find out that they're involved in like international espionage, and just like crazy chaos ensues. But prior to that, even during that, Zach Galifianakis' character is just so oblivious to certain things, which just makes the comedy so much more better. It's hysterical. I love it. So good. So definitely keeping in my collection. The next one on my list is a miss. And this one was a true miss. I watched it. I don't ever want to watch it again. And that is Vacation. I didn't even find it funny. I kept waiting for it to be funny. It's a little cruder than I would like. Not that I don't. I mean, there's times I don't mind crude, but the jokes just didn't hit like whatsoever. I bought this thankfully at a thrift store out west when I was there last year, so I didn't spend a lot of money on it, so that's okay, because it's definitely not staying in my collection. I think I may have paid $3 for it, but yeah, it's going. I don't want it. It's to the point I don't even recall truly what it was. It was like, I mean, they were going on a vacation. I think it's supposed to be it, well, not supposed to be. It is part of the National Lampoon's kind of line of movies. And he is basically supposed to be the original kid, Clark's kid. And he's grown up now and he's taken his family on a vacation to Wally World. And it, I don't know, it just wasn't good. No. The next one that I watched was Backroads. This is another one that is going. This movie was okay. It was an okay watch to watch once. And it's basically due to the subject matter. It's just not one that I want to watch again. It is another Jennifer Morrison movie. It's another one that I had never seen, and it was in my collection. In fact, I just took the wrapper and stuff off recently so I could watch it. It's dealing with a lot of family trauma, and the main guy had some things happen to him when he was younger, and it's basically affected him where he has a mental problem now, and you can tell as the movie goes on. And Jennifer Morrison plays the neighbor or whatever, that the guy's younger sister is friends with her daughter. And so excuse me, hold on, I'm gonna get a drink. But anyways, there was some stuff going on with her too. It's just, like I said, a lot of family trauma that's just it's a little rough and just not something that I want to rewatch. Again, it wasn't a bad film to watch once, but due to subject matter, I don't want it in my collection to rewatch. And I don't really want to say much because I don't know what I can say on YouTube. I'm still new to this, and there's certain things in here that are just, we're not going to get into. But we're going to move on. I think that was the last miss. Everything else are hits. But the next one that I watched is one of my favorite Lana Parrilla movies, and that is Spiders. I'm not going to say it's a cinematic masterpiece by any means. It's like a sci-fi B movie, I guess you would say. It's definitely dealing with mutant spiders, and when I say mutant spiders, I'm saying it gets to the size of bigger than school buses, and it's climbing buildings and whatnot. So I mean, it is definitely a sci-fi B movie. Green screen's not great, but it's just one of those. It's a really good one. I mean, for me, I enjoy sitting there and watching it. She plays basically a college reporter that she kind of specializes, even though her editor really doesn't like it too much, but she specializes in I would almost say paranormal, alien kind of things, basically. And even at the start of the movie, she's interviewing this couple that supposedly, they're saying that they're aliens. So there's that. And basically you've got this, NASA's doing this big thing with, they're going into space, and they brought a spider, and they're injecting it with stuff, just doing tests. Basically something happens. The spider gets loose, and some crazy stuff happens. And anyways, once they get back and, they crash, the spider gets loose and then just starts slowly growing, and just, it's chaotic. Again, sci-fi B movie. I love it. That's what it's, Spiders. 10 out of 10 for me. The next one on my list is a classic. Of course, it's going to stay in because I just bought it. It's the 4K of Goonies. My family was down in June, and it was one Saturday night that I popped this movie in, and we were watching it. And it's also even holds a little special place in my heart even now. Even though I loved it as a kid, I love this even more because a couple of years ago, I went out west to visit my best friend, and she took me and this other girl. We went to all the different places that the Goonies like filmed. So I got to see the jail, I got to see the house, and just different places like that. So it was really cool. So when I watched this, it just, I don't know, it makes it even better because I'm like, hey, I actually saw those places. So between nostalgic memories as a child to now like grown up memories, getting to see the different places, this is just a super classic movie. One of the best 80s films, hands down. Next one I watched was Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters. This one I got through a thrift just to see because I remember watching it. I remember liking it. I didn't know if it would be one that, because I couldn't remember fully about the movie. I didn't know if it was one that I would want to pick up to own now. So to get it through a thrift where I can watch it and make my choices, but this one's definitely a keeper, and I'm going to upgrade it to a Blu-ray. You've got the basic Hansel and Gretel. They're grown up now, but they're witch hunters, and you discover their lineage and stuff like that, and how and why things are happening to them, and why they have certain powers and stuff. So it's a great film. I highly love that one. I love that one. The next one was one, again, bought it at the thrift store. And one of those movies I completely forgot about until I saw it. And that is Benchwarmers. And so I grabbed it because it was cheap and was really hoping I would still love it. And I do. You got your classic guys that clearly, they knew what bullying was about because they got bullied as kids. And so Rob Schneider's character sees this kid getting bullied at the local ballpark. So he goes and breaks it up. He finds out, these guys are coming and trying to take over the ballpark. So Rob Schneider rounds up his friends, and which is just these two other guys, and just to play ball. And he was going to play against these kids, and basically whoever wins, then, they get to keep the park or get to play on the park. And from there, they just go on and they're playing more and more, and they're going to play against the best, like, little leaguers, just the three guys, and just to basically prove, and kind of be heroes for all the little kids that have been picked on and bullied and whatnot. So yeah, it's a funny film just because, these three guys are hysterical, but Benchwarmers. The next one I got was Click. This one is Adam Sandler and Kate Beckinsale. Definitely staying because I've searched and searched for this movie. Again, yes, I could have bought it online, but it was one of those, it was just, if I found it in the wild is when I wanted it. But this movie, you basically got this guy who never has time for his family. Because of his boss is just always on him to do A, B, C, and D, and basically giving him promises that he never ends up keeping, about like promotions and whatnot. So he comes home one day and he's trying to turn on something like, here, kids, watch this or whatever. And he ends up hitting the wrong thing because there's, how it is, or at least it used to be, where you had 20 different remotes for everything. Nowadays, a lot of people just have, all the remotes on their phone or whatever. But I think the kid ends up making some remark like, oh, well, so-and-so has a remote that does everything. So one night he gets irritated and he goes to the store and he goes to Bed Bath & Beyond to look for one of these TV remotes. And upon looking at the TV remotes, he can't find one that he's, what he's looking for. So he keeps going, here's bed, here's bath. And then he finally gets to Beyond, and it's just this sign that says Beyond. So he walks through it and he comes into this room where Morty is, who is played by Christopher Walken. And Adam Sandler is just basically like looking for this remote. Morty's like, hey, I've got one. It's not even on the market yet. It's kind of like a prototype, whatever. So he's trying to explain to him what it is, and he gets it home, and basically something is happening. Like, I think he's trying to work or whatever, and the dog's just like barking and barking and barking. He's like, oh my God, just wanting him to shut up. And, we all have that wish where it's like, ooh, if we could just mute that person or something, like, I don't want to hear it. So he picks up the remote and just like acting like, oh, if only I could turn the volume down or mute it. Well, when he does, the dog actually mutes. So he's like, what? So he realizes this thing does so much. So there's different times where he's like trying to fast forward through like, ugh, I don't want to deal with this. Let me just fast forward through, basically fast forwarding through parts of his life so that he can get to A, B, C, and D. Problem is, uh, the remote starts to like do things on its own. So he's starting to realize that he's skipping a lot of his life and whatnot. But a lot of funny things in here, but also kind of heartwarming at the end. So you've got a comedy, but you've also got some heart with it. But yeah, I love this movie. The next one that I picked to watch was Despicable Me. This is, I think, the only animated show that I watched this month. I own all of these. I love them. I love the little minions. I know some people get annoyed with them, but I absolutely adore them. And it's still, I don't know which one I feel like just the very first one is my favorite, just because I love the little girls in it and just them basically breaking the ice in Gru's heart or whatever, and just seeing that and them seeing the minions for the first time, and just this is probably my favorite out of all of them, even though I love every one of the films. It's one of my favorite franchises. One day we ended up doing a double feature at my friend's house, and we decided to do the two. We watched Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, and we watched Elvira's Haunted Hills. Both of these are fantastic cult classics. I initially was thinking, like, when I went over there, I always decided like Elvira's Haunted Hills was probably my favorite. But it's one of those. It's funny because when I watch them separately, I would say this is my favorite. But when we watched them together in in the double feature, I think I love them equally, and for like different reasons. Um, but yeah, like I don't know if I could choose. I really thought I liked this one more, but watching them one after the other, I think I love them both. So like equally. But these are so good, cult classics, and I will be watching them again in the month of October. So you're gonna end up seeing them again. I'll probably just easily skip over them when I get to them because I've already talked about them. But yeah. And the very last one I watched was Very Mean Men. I watched this just a couple of days after I got it in the mail because I was super happy to have it. So I just wanted to watch it. And honestly, Lana Priya was in this a lot more than I thought she would be. And that was the one thing I know when I get these kind of movies, because I just buy all of them. Like if I really like an actress or whatever, which it doesn't happen often. Like I think the last time I did that was like way back with Angelina Jolie. I had bought quite a few of those, but Lana, some of them that I've bought and I've watched, she's in it very, very little. So I figured this one, especially since I hadn't really heard much about it, I figured, you know what, she's probably just going to be like a background character or something like that, because when you look it up, it says like waitress or whatever. So I was like, ugh, I was a little scared. But honestly, she was in it a lot more than I thought she would be. And it actually was a really good movie. Like, even if she wasn't in it, I'm kind of, this is the thing. I'm glad she was in it because I would have never picked this had she not been in it. But honestly, if she wasn't and I saw this, it's still a good movie. You basically have Matthew Modine and what's his name? I forgot it. Martin Landau. There we go. So Matthew Modine, Martin Landau. The setting is it's at this, like restaurant or whatever. Martin Landau's sitting down having a drink. And you've got Matthew Modine, who is the waiter or the bartender. And Martin's character, sits down, is having a drink, and then he's like, here, going to pay. Well, he goes to put the money away, and he's not going to tip. And so Matthew Modine was kind of annoyed. And they had been talking or whatever, and he's like, hey, let me tell you a story. And he basically tells a story about this Italian family and this Irish family that are basically kind of like a mob situation. They do some shady stuff on both sides. But he's telling this story basically to get to the point about tipping. It's literally all this stuff that he's talking about all comes back to just because the guy didn't tip. And so every time, you kind of, the majority of the movie is actually not these two guys that are on the front. It's actually more about the families that he's talking about. So you'll see them there, and then it flashes to the family. So you're talking, and then it'll flash back to them. And Martin Landau's character is about to leave again because he had another drink, and so Matthew Modine goes again. He's like, "Well, wait, I haven't told you about so and so." And so it's just this back and forth. But the story of the families are great, and then the ending's really good. And kind of interesting, and just kind of like, oh, okay. I don't want to spoil it, but yeah, it was a good ending. But all in all, I love the film, and definitely gonna rewatch this one. And I'm hoping, actually, if I ever meet Lana Parrilla again, I want her to I want her to sign this one, because I think that would just be cool. But yeah, that was it, guys. That's all my watches for the month of June. We're done. We're all caught up. And so the next time I will be doing a update of the physical media will be in the month of August, and that'll be for my July stuff. So stick around, stay tuned, and see what's happening. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. If you want to support me, go ahead and subscribe. Go ahead and drop a comment on the things that you've been watching, things that you're looking forward to seeing maybe in the theaters or whatever. Let's just talk about movies. Until next time, guys, thank you so much. Take care. See ya.